I'm going to break out a brand new song you haven't heard. You know, a lot of pressure. Okay. Wrote it with a young man named Dave Gibson, who's written a whole bunch of great songs. We were talking about high school backstage, and this is kind of, the first verse is about kind of high school. Maybe junior high, I don't know. I fell in love with Samantha Swanson when I turned 15. She was going steady with Big Ben Larson, the captain of the football team. She made a move on me one night after the Friday night game. He was coming out of the locker room. He caught us playing kissy face, and it was wham bam, thank you Sam for dragging me into your no-win romance. I learned my first heartbreak lesson in life that night. Guess you gotta get it wrong before you get it right. You gotta get it wrong before you get it right. My first ride was an '89 beater. I bought it off a preacher man. 4x4 and 5-point leader, blessed by the good Lord's hand. I wasn't 5 miles from the old church steeple when I knew there was something wrong. I smelled the smoke and saw the fire. In 10 minutes it was gone. And it was flim flam, bless you man, for chaining me down to your finance plan. 100 a month for the rest of my life. Guess you gotta get it wrong before you get it right. That was then and this is now. I thought I finally had it right. But Vegas, vacations, and pretty girls ain't nothing but rolling the dice. It's a wham bam, thank you ma'am for luring me into your well-planned scam. That look that took me down on a date last night. Robbing me was wrong when I was out like a light. Guess you gotta get it wrong before you get it right. You gotta get it wrong before you get it right. Thank you. And thank you, Dave Gibson. Bob Regan.
Well, thank you. Hi, guys. I'm glad to be back here. I always have a wonderful time. This is a beautiful little theater and great sound and good food and good people. Just makes me wish I had a little bit better show for you. I stole that line from Jimmy Dickens. He always said that. This first song I wrote was back some years ago. I was in between ex-wives, and I happened to have met a girl, and we went out a couple times, and I found myself thinking about her. And it didn't seem like a earth-shattering song title, but that's what I was doing, so I sat down and wrote it with my buddy Tom Shapiro, and Tritchie Yearwood recorded it. And it goes like this, called Thinking About You. It was a hit. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but all day through and all night long, I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. The look in your eyes when you smile that way, the sound of your voice saying my name, yeah, I've been thinking about you. Just keep thinking about you. This single-minded fascination I got, you call it love if you don't then what? All I know is I don't know what you've done. This train of thought ain't about to jump the track that it's on. In the back of my mind, I got a secret place, but the whole world knows by the smile on my face that I've been thinking about. Yeah, I've been thinking about. I got. You call it love. If you don't, then what? All I know is I don't know what you've done. This train of thought ain't about to jump the track that it's on. I know it's crazy calling you this late, when the only thing that I wanted to say is I've been thinking about. Yeah, I've been thinking about. Girl, I've been thinking about you, thinking about you. You love thinking about you. Thank you.
Mighty good.
Mr. Byron Hill.
Wasn't that Tasha great earlier? Yeah, that's the first time I've heard her sing. And who knows, we might be related. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But how many of you been to Music Row in Nashville? Anybody ever been there? Well, like these guys, I've spent a lot of time writing in those little offices there. Anyway, I was writing actually with a guy from Alabama, from the state of Alabama, a writer there, Billy Lawson, and I were writing one day. Some of you may know Billy. And Billy looked out the window and he said, "Hey, there's Teddy Gentry going by from the band Alabama." And so I ran out the steps, and I'd kind of been stalking Alabama with a song, and I ran out the steps and down to my car, and I was hoping I'd run into them, and I got this cassette out of my car. We used cassettes back then, and I ran out in the street and gave this song to Teddy Gentry. And it wasn't long after that they called and said they were going to cut it, and not long after that they called and said it was going to make the album. And then shortly thereafter, they called and said it would be a single. So it doesn't always happen that easy, does it, boys? Really, rarely. But
What's a single?
what's that? What's a single? Anyway, the beginnings of what you hope will be a hit. But anyway, so anyway, for all you Alabama fans. Clear creeks, cool mountain mornings, honest work out in the fields, cornbread in my mama's kitchen, Daddy saying grace before the meal. Family ties run deep in this land, and I'm never very far from what I am. I was born country, that's what I'll always be. Like the rivers and the woodlands, wild and free. I got 100 years of down home running through my blood. I was born country, and this country's what I love.
beside me, crickets serenading in the yard. What more could two people ask for here underneath the stars? This is where I want to raise my kid, just the way my mom and daddy did. I was born country, that's what I'll always be, like the rivers and the woodlands, wild and free. I got 100 years of down home running through my blood. I was born country, and this country is what I love. Moonlight, cool Alabama morning. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I like that song.
Thank you, John.
You know, I tell you, for the longest time, I sang harmony. Dan, in the group that I was in, Dan couldn't sing harmony, and he had this wonderful lead voice, so he sang lead, and I sang harmony. Now I don't get to sing harmony very much, so to be able to sit up here and sing harmony on something like that, it's kind of thrilling for me. It's a
You sounded awful. You sounded really good. I'm sorry, not awfully good.
Yeah,
That's a
but
country thing.
Yeah, but you know, we all know it's not how you sound, it's how you look. I mean, how do I look, man?
You look great.
Well, then,
Does he look great?
good.
I'm in trouble.
It's- how many of you have seen us play before? If you don't mind me. You have. Okay, we're gonna change up the set then. I'm gonna not do any of the songs you're familiar with. I'm gonna have a night of Lithuanian disco polka music with a strong backbeat on 5 and 7. We'll just kind of. It's really nice to be down here in Alabama. I didn't really think that I'd get the opportunity to come back to Alabama as much as I've gotten in the last couple of years. I came from Texas, but I had family that came from both Wilcox and Dallas County and Monroe County. I don't know if any of you might possibly know them. They left about 1867, so. But, a couple of years ago, I was traveling, and I'd finished playing in Sodom and Gomorrah West. That's California to most of you. And after I'd finished playing, this really nicely dressed lady comes up, and she's got one of the old LPs. Remember those big old LPs? And she was really nicely dressed. I mean, she was actually quite beautiful, quite attractive. And she stuck that LP close to me, and she took me by the hand, and she began to squeeze my hand just a little bit tighter and tighter as she spoke to me. And in a voice, it was very sweet and gentle, she said, "I want you to know, my fiance and I fell in love to your song, Nights Are Forever Without You. We danced to the song. He proposed to me to the song. We loved to the song. We did just about everything to that song." Not being remotely interested in what that lady's everything might possibly include, I just politely said, "Well, thank you very much." Honest to goodness, that woman's head morphed into Satan right in front of me. Got about that big, and she got about that far from my nose, squeezed my hand so tight that it actually hurt. And then in a voice I didn't recognize as coming out of her before, she said, "And then that blankety blank so-and-so left me, and I've hated your song ever since." I've been doing this. Moses wasn't a prophet when I started playing music. So I don't get very, very, frightened by stuff, but the only thing that I could do was look at her and go, "Cool." So I hope that doesn't happen to anyone tonight. If they do, just go right over here and they'll take care of you.
Falls like rain, soft summer nights spent thinking of you. Where will I see you again? Soft and low the music moans, can't stop thinking about you, thinking about you.
Thank you very much.